Hi, welcome to Fun Pie Videos. This is DC here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use 64-bit password protection in ICODE SLIX2 tag. So 64-bit is better than 32-bit. So I think you'll agree with that. The way the 64-bit is used in ICODE SLIX is, we know that the SLIX2 tag has got both 32-bit read and 32-bit write password. So the 64-bit password means using both read and the write password. And this 64-bit password protection applies only to the protected user pages. It does not apply to the password protection for EAS or AFI or destroy or a counter. So they still go with the 32-bit passwords. So you need both read and write password to do either the read or the write operations. So you have to use both the password. You have to send both the 32-bit password of read and write before you can read or write. The way you're going to do the 64-bit password protection is, the first step is you have to enable the tag with 64-bit password. So to do that, you'll be setting both read and the write password. Then you're going to use a command called 64-bit password protection command. So once the tag is enabled with 64-bit password, before you do any read and write operations, you have to send both the passwords, read and write password. And one more reason why 64-bit password is better is, so if you're following all my videos, you know that there is no feature in ICODE SLIX2 to lock this tag when the password is wrong for a certain number of times. For example, if you have heard about a tag called the ultralight EV1 or ntag 213 or 215 type of tags. So there is a feature in these tags called authlim. Now, if the authlim is set, for example, if the authlim is any number from 0 to 7, if the value of authlim, if it's set to 5, what happens is, if a tag receives wrong password for consecutive 5 times, it's going to automatically lock that feature completely. So such a mechanism is not available in SLIX2 tags. So you may be thinking about, what if somebody tries the password looping from say 0 to 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 1. Is it possible to break the password? In theory, obviously this is possible, because there's no way the tag will lock itself after a certain number of wrong passwords. It's possible that this would work, but looping from 0 to 2 to the power of 32 minus 1, it would take years and years to do that. And also, in any real system using this ICODE SLIX2 type of tags, the password most likely is different for each tags. So even if somebody is able to make out the password by looping through this for one tag, it may not be possible. They have to repeat the same step to find the password of another tag. And think about that. If this were possible, so by having the 64-bit password, obviously we are going to increase the looping time. It goes from any combination from 0 to 2 to the power of 63. So this will be a very massive number. Maybe this would take years and years and years and years to probably find out the password. So if you want some kind of a auto locking feature with the wrong number of password, then ICODE SLIX2 will not be of any use for that. Maybe there could be some other tag which will allow, which is still IS15693 and still have that feature. So this is the background. You have to, as I mentioned before, you have to read the data sheets. So I'm just going to point out what to read from the data sheet. So this is a section you have to understand. It explains what you have to do, and also it gives the structure of the command. And the best would be search for the 64-bit, and just you have to gather all the information together, which I've already done in my slide. So with this background, okay, let's go and play with the tag and see how the 64-bit password works. So as you can see, I've connected my PN580 board with Arduino and running the software version 2.7, and I've placed probably fairly a new tag, and I'm going to demonstrate everything about 64-bit password here. The first thing is, remember the 64-bit password works only for the protected pages. So here this is a tag which has got probably there's no protection applied at. Now I'm not going to do any paging here. So everything every block belongs to a one single page called the H page. So to protect, so let's make sure we know the password. I'm sure the password, if I have set, will be set to 1. Set the password on address mode. Now, so the password is wrong. Probably this must be the default password. Now keep in mind, whenever the password is yeah, there is a kind of a kind of little bit of like a protection. When the password is wrong, you have to deactivate or repower the tag. So I'm going to activate. So get, probably the password is still 0. So set the password is fine. The read password is 0. The write password is 0. I'm going to first change this password to 1 and change the password of write to 2. Right now the password is changed. So you have to see, whenever the password is changed, I mentioned this in my video on the read and write password. Whenever the password is changed, you have to resend this new password. So I'm going to send this. I'm going to send that. Okay. So this is the place where you define the pages and the protection, whether you want to read protect or write protect. So what I'm going to do is, we are going to play with this tag. So I'm going to say just a read protect. And keep in mind, sorry, I forgot to mention in my slide, the 64-bit password enable is it's a one-way operation. You cannot undo, you cannot take out the 64-bit protection. So you have to keep that in mind. So hope you got a couple of spare tags to play with. Now I'm going to enable the read protect. So I'm going to say everything from page 0, the read is I'm going to protect the read. So no read. The best is try with the write protect. So because there is no paging, I have to apply for the page H, because the software shows at present everything belongs to page H. So it's write protect. Now before you use this thing, I think you have to have set the read and write password. So I'm going to enable the password protection for write. So say write. Now page protect is okay. So now I'm going to enable the 64-bit protection. It's the button here. If you click, now there is a warning that says, do you want to enable 64-bit password protection forever? you must first set the both read and write password. So before you hit this button, you must have already set the read and write password, which you have done. So I'm going to say yes. So now what we have done is we have just enabled the switchable password protection here. Now I'm going to start this all over again. Now in theory, if we have done everything right, we should not be able to write anything without sending both read and write password. Let's give it a try. Okay, so I'm going to write this to, in fact, I just try writing that. I'm going to write this to 2. Sorry, it was, let me read. Now the read is possible, so I'm going to write it to zeros. Now the write is an error here, so we'll go and try to set the password at a time. I'm going to just set the write password first. Set. The write password is set. So let's try to write. We still get an error, which makes sense because we have to send both the read and write password. Now I'm going to enable send the read password. Set. Now this time try to write. Look at the write is successful. So with the system password, you have to send first both read and write password. Let's try now. Usually now, if you know it is system password, what our software or your software should do is, as soon as it activates the tag, so it should first just get some data here. So we are going to send both the read password, send the write password, then start making changes to the data. Say write. Now write is successful. Okay, now I'm going to try this time to enable the read password as well. So we're still in one single page, that's a page H. So I'm going to take this read protect. Say write this configuration is done. Now if you try to read now, we should get error even for the read operation. Now if you hit get the system information and say read, look at that. Now this is the counter block. As I mentioned before in my slide, this system password does not apply to the counter because counter works with the 32-bit password. It has got its own configuration. So because there is an error, we'll go there, get the random number, set both the read password. If you try to read now by just setting one read password, it still should get error because this is set to system protection. Yeah, could not read any blocks. So set the write password also. Now this time if I try to read, look at that, we are able to read with system password. The only thing that's probably missing in here is there is no way you can find whether the system password enabled or not. Now here you can see it says the page H is both read password protected and write password protected, and there is no way here, there's nothing. So probably your software, because as a developer, so probably your software system knows that all your tags are system protected, and probably you can do the program accordingly. I think that's all really about switch word password. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.